Something important is happening in Texas right now, and it's barely making national headlines. Thousands of households are falling behind on the electric bills. Not because they stopped using power, and it's not because one big disaster, but because everyday costs quietly stack up. In San Antonio alone, the local utility says the past due power bill just jumped by millions of dollars, and tens of thousands of homes are now at risk of disconnection. So today, I want to explain what's happening in Texas, how real families are being affected, and why this story matters far beyond one state. So let's start with the facts. In San Antonio, Texas, CPS Energy, the city-owned electric and gas utility, recently reported a sharp increase in past due balances on customers' accounts. According to the local reporting, unpaid balances rose about 10 million, pushing totals overdue utilities debt to levels that utility says it hasn't seen in years. That matters because CPS Energy serves nearly 1 million of customers across the whole region. So right now, around 92,000 households are behind on their power bills. Many are approaching disconnection thresholds, and the utility is warning that the financial pressure is building. This isn't a one-week spike. It's a trend, and it's happening during a period when energy use hasn't collapsed. People still need electricity to live. So behind those numbers are real households, families who are already paying higher rent, are dealing with rising insurance costs, and are spending more on groceries, and now have to choose which bills get paid first. Electric isn't one optional. You can delay a purchase, you can skip a trip, but you cannot turn off power in a Texas heat. So when households fall behind on utility, it's often one of the last bills to go unpaid, which tells us something important. By the time people miss power payments, financial pressure is already deep. And once disconnection begins, the ripple effect gets worse. Late fees stacks, reconnection fees applies, credit damage can follow, and households fall further behind. This is how short-term stress turns into long-term instability. So why is this happening now? CPS Energy and local officials pointing to a mix of forces. First, the high energy costs over time. Not just one spike, but months of elevated bills that never fully came down. Second, the household budgets are already stretched by insurance increases, property tax adjustments, food costs, transportation expenses. The third will be the lingering economic disruption from early shutdowns and policy changes that never fully reverse for many families. What's important here is this. Even when inflation is low, utility bills don't rewind. Rates locks in, infrastructure costs remain. Field contracts are long-term, so households feel relief last, if at all. Utility bills are one of the earliest warning signs of financial stress in an economy. Why? Because they are universal. They are unavoidable, and they are usually prioritized over other expenses. So when unpaid balances rise this sharply, it tells us savings buffers are thinner, emergency funds are being used up, and households are juggling surviving costs. That's why utilities track delinquency so closely. It's not just about power generation. It's about economy health at the household level. Here's the part that should concern everyone. Even people who pay on time, when utilities see large of unpaid balances, they face a problem. They still have to maintain infrastructure, pay fuel and generation costs, fund the grid reliability, and cover operational expenses. If delinquency remains high, utilities often respond to one or two ways. Seek rate adjustments and spread the costs across. The customer-based local officials have already warned that future rate increases could be discussed in coming years to stabilize finances. That means today unpaid bills can become tomorrow's higher rates, even for households that never miss a payment. This is how financial stress quietly spreads. Now zoom out. Texas isn't unique in facing this pressure across the country. Utilities are dealing with higher operation costs. Households are stretched thinner and late payments are rising in pockets. So what makes Texas important in scale? When a large, fast-growing state sees this kind of utility stress, it often becomes a leading indicator for other regions. Especially in hot weather states, high growth metro areas, places with rising housing and insuring costs. This is how local stories turn national. So what should people be watching for next? Three things. Disconnections moratorium changes. Utility rate hearings on proposal. Local assistance programs getting overwhelmed. These are early signs of whether pressure is easing or spreading. This Texas utility story isn't about panic. It's about visibility. When people fall behind on power bills, it's not because they made reckless choices. It's because the math stopped working. And when that happens in one place, it's worth paying attention everywhere. That's what we do here. Track real stories in real places and explain why they matter. Thanks for watching.